The universe is not merely more peculiar than we can conceive, it is more peculiar than we can even contemplate. JBS Haldane suggests that in every direction, as far as we can think and possibly even beyond, lies space, our environment, filled with celestial bodies, events, and who knows what else. While many view space as incredibly stunning, others find it quite frightening. When contemplating or observing pictures of the deep cosmos, it's hard not to recognize the scope, and often it invokes a complete sense of dread due to its unfathomable expanse, the uncertainty of hidden mysteries, the enigmatic phenomena, and the terrifying characteristics of its entities. It remains unclear what aspect of space is most disturbing, the unknown, the known, or the enormous emptiness that divides everything. The fear related to space and celestial bodies is referred to as astrophobia, cosmophobia, or space dread. What typically triggers fear is the element of the unknown. Understandably, the universe is primarily a mystery, relatively speaking. However, what is somewhat distinct about space is that the knowledge we do possess can often be just as frightening. As we gain insights into the cosmos, it frequently doesn't ease the distress of what was previously unclear. Instead, it amplifies it. With new discoveries, we find ourselves surrounded by conditions that could make our worst fears seem like secure refuges. When we think about planets in space, they often appear as safe havens amid the disorder and void. In some instances, this holds true, yet in most, it is far from reality as many planets are entirely uninhabitable. But they are also incomprehensibly bizarre and frightening. They are not the cozy, fluffy, adorable items that dangle above our infants' cribs. They are primarily made up of gases, extremely hostile, utterly ridiculous, and completely alien. The sight could figuratively and literally make a baby's head explode, particularly one observing Jupiter within our own solar system. Jupiter is a gas giant that is 11 times the diameter of Earth. To put it into perspective, if you picture a grape next to a basketball for size, Jupiter could contain about 1/300 Earths. Its size and hostility are so extreme that if Earth entered Jupiter's orbit, it would be utterly destroyed by the gravitational forces at play. In the event of a collision with Jupiter, Earth would be pulled into Jupiter's atmosphere, incinerated, and mixed into clouds of gas and liquid metal, much like how a drop of food coloring disperses in water, completely vanishing from existence. Even the most advanced theoretical technology aimed at navigating this planet would face a terrifying journey through incredibly deep, fast, swirling gaseous layers with winds reaching hundreds of miles per hour. Each mile traveled would plunge deeper into darkness as sunlight becomes obscured by the clouds until you finally reach the outer mantle and plunge into a vast ocean of glowing, superheated liquid metallic hydrogen. There is no definite surface on Jupiter, leaving nowhere to land or even stand within our solar system. Before 1992, humanity was unsure if there were other planets outside our solar system. These are referred to as exoplanets. Current estimates suggest there are about 200 billion planets in our galaxy alone. Additionally, it is estimated that there could be as many as 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. This results in an estimated 20 to 100 quintillion planets. Among these celestial bodies, there are countless planets similar to Earth. Additionally, there are many planets resembling nightmarish landscapes that would shame those in our solar system. One such planet, HD 189733b, located in the constellation Vulpecula, and approximately 64. 5 light-years away from us, looks like a stunning, vibrant blue Earth-like world adorned with gentle oceanic swirls that create marbled designs, as if it were an exquisite painting by Van Gogh. However, despite its beauty, the conditions there are extraordinarily harsh, cruel, and bizarre. The environment on HD 189733b seems to belong in a cosmic horror tale penned by someone deeply troubled. On this planet, temperatures can soar above 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds can reach speeds of 5,400 miles per hour, 7 times the speed of sound, making them the fastest winds ever recorded in the cosmos. The relentless winds drive rainstorms of molten glass sideways, creating a perilous scene. A trip to this planet would result in being engulfed by a searing, cosmic whirlwind composed of gold fragments that would tear you apart with countless cuts. These represent just a few planets. Stars, the sparkling orbs of light often celebrated in children's nursery rhymes, are incomprehensibly more massive and powerful than almost all planets. Jupiter is about 11 times broader than Earth. Our Sun is roughly 10 times larger than Jupiter and is considered an average star. In contrast, one of the largest known stars, a red supergiant known as WOA G64, has an estimated radius over 1,540 times that of our Sun. If this star were positioned at the center of our solar system, it would. The complete orbits of Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter could accommodate over 1 million Earths within our Sun. Several billion suns could fit into WOHG64. This amounts to quadrillions of Earths. This star resembles an entire universe by itself, composed solely of scorching, glowing gas and energy, reaching thousands of degrees Fahrenheit, a true inferno. Glimmer, glimmer. When enormous stars, such as WOA G64, perish, they give rise to even more peculiar, gigantic, powerful, and foreboding entities, perhaps the most incomprehensible and alarming beings in the known cosmos. Once a star depletes its fuel and the balance between its radiation and gravitational forces is thrown off, its core collapses. In an instant, it implodes, leading to a supernova explosion, and if the star is massive enough, what remains is a black hole, an area in space-time where gravity is so intense that nothing can flee from it. At the heart of a black hole lies what is called a singularity, which is an infinitely dense and minuscule point, and all notions of time and space become meaningless. What causes this phenomenon during a star's collapse? How can there exist an apparent singularity, or a point that is both infinitely dense and small within the universe? What transpires at or beyond the singularity? Does the singularity truly exist? We have no answers to any of these queries, but one thing we do know is that these colossal cosmic giants can grow to such immense sizes that they render even the largest stars look ordinary. One of the largest known black holes in the observable universe is TON 6018, which has a diameter of at least 240 billion miles, and is probably much larger since it continues to expand. That's around 11 solar systems lined up. This giant devours entire galaxies' worth of material while glowing with the brightness equivalent to that of 100 trillion stars. What could possibly surpass this? Surely nothing at all. Indeed, that is absolutely correct. The unimaginably large emptiness that divides everything, the frigid and desolate area situated between galaxies and clusters of galaxies, renders even TON 618 somewhat unremarkable. Intergalactic space, or the gaps between galaxies, constitutes the majority of the universe's mass. Areas referred to as supervoids are particular locations where there are exceptionally large stretches of empty space, containing significantly fewer galaxies and objects than most other parts of the universe. One exceptionally daunting supervoid is called the Boötes void, often referred to as the Great Nothing. The Boötes void spans a diameter of approximately 330 million light-years. In contrast, the black hole TON 618 has a diameter of about 0, or 4 light-years. This makes the Boötes void about 25 billion times larger than one of the universe's most enormous black holes. That accounts for 330 million light-years of largely uninterrupted cold, dark, and empty space. The mere idea of such an immense void can paradoxically trigger feelings of tightness and claustrophobia. What could possibly be more alarming than this situation? Well, it turns out things can get worse, since perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the universe is the fact that the voids, including the Boötes void, are all expanding. Everything is moving apart. Everything in space, including ourselves, is in constant motion, racing away at speeds that are hard to comprehend. We are not merely spinning on our axis and orbiting around the sun. But our galaxy, along with a collection of galaxies we belong to called the Local Group, is traveling through the cosmos at a speed of 3 million miles per hour. This motion is a consequence of the universe expanding and moving towards chaos. In the far future, nearby galaxies will come together and then drift even further away from the rest of the universe. Eventually, we will be so distanced from other galaxies and galaxy groups that they will become undetectable, regardless of the advancements in technology that any intelligent species may possess. For humanity, or any advanced beings that may inhabit these new clusters of galaxies, it will seem as though the universe consists solely of their own galaxy, making it appear as if that's all that has ever existed or could exist. One can only speculate about what might currently be out there that we can no longer perceive. Renowned astronomer Edwin Hubble noted that as distances increase, our understanding diminishes rapidly. Eventually, we arrive at the faint limits of our telescopes, where we only recognize shadows and sift through the uncertain errors in measurements to find markers that are hardly any more real, drifting through the immense unknown of space. Together with these cosmic giants are the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, spacecraft designed for interstellar exploration. These probes were launched by NASA in 1977, with Voyager 1 being the farthest human-made object from Earth at present. Both of these spacecraft carry what are called golden records, which contain images, music, sounds from Earth, spoken greetings, and symbols along with instructions related to the record and its source. If the unsettling aspects of space aren't enough, think about what will happen to these space probes. The Voyagers and similar probes might drift through the cosmos aimlessly for billions of years. If at any point, whether far down the line or sooner they remain, they will represent the last remnants of humanity. The images, sounds, and technology within them will no longer correspond to any living species. Even if, in the best possible scenario, humanity survives alongside these probes, they too will ultimately fade away. In time, humanity will vanish along with everything else, even though we can't predict the precise outcome of it all. It seems that the universe itself is heading towards an inevitable conclusion. All forms of energy are finite. Everything is deteriorating, emptiness is expanding, and eventually one final emptiness will engulf everything forever. As the writer H.P. Lovecraft expressed, the most compassionate thing about our existence is the human mind's inability to understand all it contains. We exist on a calm island of ignorance amid vast, chaotic infinities. It was never intended for us to explore far. The various sciences, each moving in its own direction, have so far caused us little harm. However, one day, assembling fragmented knowledge will unveil such horrifying aspects of reality and our alarming place within it that we may either lose our sanity from the truth or retreat into a comforting darkness reminiscent of a new dark age. This excerpt was crafted by Lovecraft in 1928, nearly a century ago. In some respects, one might claim that these frightening views of existence are now accessible to many of us. The advancement of humanity, alongside scientific and technological growth, has unveiled a vast, frightening, and unresponsive universe, of which we are inevitably a component. Thus, the fear of space has rational roots in many respects. This fear is entirely warranted, yet confronting certain anxieties through exposure can often be beneficial. By facing the source of the fear, one can realize that, while daunting, it may not pose as much danger as it seems. Look upward. Observe the endless expanse filled with fiery celestial bodies and gas giants. Behold the infinite, expanding emptiness. Here you exist on a planet that does not consume you or tear you apart, one that doesn't hurl sharp fragments at you or incinerate you. You find yourself in the cosmos at an ideal location and moment, in an environment just right for life to appear, evolve, and give rise to your being, enabling you to recognize your existence, experience love, joy, pain, and fear. Experiencing fear is a unique gift from this planet. You can witness as you rotate away from one of the most immense forces in the universe. You can observe the sunset and experience such overwhelming beauty that it may bring tears of wonder and gratitude to your eyes. That sun can be lethal from a different proximity, yet from where you are, it sustains your life. Thrills are enjoyable because they are scary, and for various reasons, this adventure continues. Open your eyes, raise your arms, scream if necessary, and savor the fear while you can still feel it. All we possess is the structure and organization of our societies here on Earth, and given our astonishing and improbable circumstances, we must stay aware of what is occurring so that we can remain engaged, cautious, prepared, hopeful, and enthusiastic. And of course, thank you very much for your viewership in general, and see you in the next video.